All right, so it's the following week after Mike's birthday, which was last Sunday. And I'm just going to sit down and talk about how the week's been. The first birthday, of course, I mentioned last week. That I recorded the day before, just in case I didn't know how I was going to be. So I suppose this is quite a good. This is the first video, or the first time I ever speak, or the only time I'll ever speak about the first birthday of losing my brother, of losing Mike. And I think this is why I want to do these types of conversations, speaking to you, to document the experience, share what I'm learning, and give updates in terms of the experiences that I'm having. A few things really. It's therapeutic for me. It gives me meaning, purpose. But also, and I don't mean this in any egotistical way, it might help you, or it might help someone watching who can, you might be watching and relate to what I'm saying, or whatever that might be. If it potentially can help anyone, fine, that's brilliant. That's why I'm doing it. As well as my own reasons as well, in terms of meaning, purpose, that type of thing. So it's the first birthday last weekend, and I recorded the day before, but now I'm recording post that, so I can look at it retrospectively and give sort of insights in terms of how it's been. I was shocked, surprised this week. So the reason why I say that is because I'd consider myself quite a pragmatic guy, I suppose. I don't really get attached to dates, or so I believed. I don't really get attached to dates. Doesn't really change, in my view, or what I thought, how I'd be day to day. Like, if it's my brother's birthday on the Sunday and I'm doing this on the Saturday, it's a day for me. That's how it is for me. But this week, and this is why I think 2 videos ago, I was talking about how high energy I am, how like the highest energy I've had ever, how pumped, motivated. And I did say on there that I felt maybe that could be seen as surprising way to be, or what you wouldn't expect. And I did initially think, do I even share that? Because it might make you feel, or anyone watching, feel that they're not in that position, or you're not in that position, so therefore I don't want to make anyone feel bad. But I did think then, but I need to be honest about where I'm at if I'm feeling great, because if I don't do that, it's fake for a start, which I'm not into, and it's not authentic. And also, when I do then have a slump or a grief wave, whatever it is, then I've got the data to compare it to, and I can be honest about that as well. I don't feel like I've in any way misled how I've been feeling. So anyway, long and short of it, I was feeling brilliant a couple of weeks ago, as I mentioned, and this week, and it's funny, I did say on that video, I could be sat in a couple of weeks and say I'm not feeling good. And this week has been tough, really, really tough. Today, fortunately, which is Saturday, I feel all right. I feel good, back to sort of normal. Up at like 5 this morning, out early getting a coffee. So it's been a couple of days. But this week, the best way to explain it is, in early Jan, I did the habit sort of audit thing, I want to call it that, review of my daily habits. And I was like, right, I'm going through a slump of low energy, low mood, not leaving the house for a week. Okay, I need to try and get some habits into place that sorts me out. So I've done that, and then the compound effect of those has meant that I've had more energy than ever. But this week, out of nowhere, back to what I was in January again. Like falling asleep at like 7 at night, then struggling to get up at like 8 in the morning. Versus the week prior, it was going to bed maybe like 10 and getting up at 4 or 5. So I was like, okay, the reason why I stopped the drinking, put all the good habits in place, ensured that I was as sort of blank slate as possible, that if a grief wave came in, i.e. what I'm referring to this week, I'd have complete and utter clarity over it's not an extended hangover from the weekend, or it's not a bad diet. It's not because I haven't been going to the gym. It's eliminated all that. But even now, which is interesting, is this week's been proper like exhaustion. That I'm still confused as to what it is, because I'm still a little bit like, well, maybe I was just a bit sick. So I did mention that last week that I have a bit of a cold, but this week has been, wow, like crazy. And the only way I can think about it is it feels like your body's on power save mode. That's what it feels like. It almost feels like you've got your nervous system or your mind or whatever has got these stress things, signals that it's working with and having to spend energy on. So it's having to reserve energy from elsewhere, which means that you haven't got the energy to do normal things day to day. So that's one thing, because I was saying, and I still believe it to be true to a degree, that do the great habits and you'll have good energy. And it's as simple as that. Now, I'm still going to do those. It's definitely good for you. I'm in a good place now today, Saturday. But this week, those habits, if I'm totally honest, went out the window because I didn't have the energy for them, even though they were small, tiny ones. So I have been saying, do tiny little things each day to move yourself a bit forward. 100% do that. But I didn't go for the walk each day this week. I didn't have green juices a bunch of times because it was too much energy. Didn't do reading really that much. I did do tiny things, but didn't have the energy to do these little habits. But it was a few days. It was Monday to Thursday. Friday, yesterday, I felt much better. Today, I feel much better. So I'll take that exchange if it's me having full pelt energy for 6 weeks for an exchange of a few days dip of exhaustion to back where I'm at today. So I'll take that. I'm happy with that. But the lesson for me, which might be useful if you're in this journey, further along the journey than I am, or more the start of the journey than I am, even though I'm only 6 months. 6 months, pretty much 6 months in a couple of days. I think it's on Tuesday, it's 6 months. Exactly. So it's 30th of September was when my brother took his life, Mike. And it's the 28th of March now. Where was I? I can't remember where I was. Yeah, so the habits. So habits are super, super key. But what I think it's important to do as well is be aware as much as possible about what they are. So when they do slip, you're not unconsciously sort of letting them go, and then you suddenly realize later. If you're going to miss a habit, like the green juice, I clocked it, and the rule is never miss 2 days in a row with a habit, because it's then the start of a new habit. However, when you are exhausted, and what I looked into it, apparently it's called a grief hangover, which is just physical exhaustion. There's some things you just can't do. So I've reframed rest. I'm going to add that as a daily habit, making sure I get enough rest and rest without guilt. Because I think what I was doing over the last 6-7 weeks is having this full energy, needing to cram the day with as much productive stuff as possible, that I felt guilty when I wasn't resting. I felt like I was wasting time. that's something I need to work on for sure. And I don't mean it in a way that like, look how great I am because I'm so productive. I think you need to do it for health reasons, to chill and know that it's okay to chill, because I think I was probably feeling that I can't do the productive stuff I want to do, or the habits that I want to do, getting annoyed by that, which is causing stress, which is then causing a self-fulfilling loop. So I need to work on that. Just chill, it's fine. Rest, you're not feeling good, that's fine. See what you like tomorrow. And that's a good way of working, I think. So yeah, I wanted to come on here and say that because it's not quite as simple as I was originally thinking. It is simple, like it's simple. You do good things for you, good habits that are good for you, and eliminate bad ones. That is, without a doubt, a brilliant way to live and how you should live if you want to be as best as you can. But it's not quite as simple in terms of put good in, get good out. It's not a vending machine. There is, with the grief in that period, there is an element of things outside of your control. But what can you control? You can control your mindset and your habits when you have the energy to do them. So with the ones that went for the few days, like the walking, I was looking into it and I was like, you know what? Just need to just reframe them. So instead of going for a walk, I just went downstairs and just did a tiny, like, sort of outside thing. I think I had like a parcel or something I was putting off. So I was like, I'll go and get that. So I took the habit and went, okay, what's a minimum viable option? So instead of reading, I just read a page. And then one day I did make the green juice. I just forced myself to do it. So I think that's something to think about is, okay, you can't do the full thing. Fine. Is there something you can do that's hardly any effort, that's a different version of that? So that's what I'm going to look at for the days that I'm not feeling fully up for it. But on the whole, I feel good now. I'm going to look at my phone because I never, like, this is obviously not in any way scripted or anything like that. I basically, with this, sit down, talk. I have an idea what I'm going to talk about, which is essentially my experience for the week. And then through the week as well, what I do for my own thing is just write stuff down or dictate. If I learn something, I'm like, right, okay, notice that. So for example, in the week, I was just getting frustrated about how tired I was and exhausted I was. And I was like, you know what? I'll probably feel all right on Saturday, but I need to talk about that if I'm going to do this honestly. So I've written some stuff down as points. So the other thing with these, when I'm doing these, I'm not editing them as well. I think the usual YouTube rules are like, make sure the thumbnail's great, optimize the title, optimize the description, cut and make sure you get rid of certain words, or be super punchy. I'm ignoring that. I'm just basically sitting down, recording, putting it on. And I do have a background in marketing, digital marketing as well. Like 18 years in search engine optimization. So I know the ways you should optimize would be around targeting keywords and things, but I'm just keeping this as it is. And if the right people find it, then great. So this might be boring and might not get many views, but at the same time, it might feel a bit more authentic than something else potentially. So yeah, the birthday, that was Sunday. I felt all right, to be honest. I came and did some recording, I think. No, I didn't. I did some editing. I went for coffee and stuff like that. So I felt all right. But then Monday, I was just shocked just by like how the physical symptoms of grief came along. But it still confused me because I'm like, was it grief? I don't know. It was some sort of stress, I think, because I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel like I had a cold. I just felt absolutely drained, which I've gone on about there a little bit. What else forgot here? The habits, fine. Rest is a habit. That's what I've written down as well. I've actually covered the stuff I wanted to chat about, I think. Yeah. yeah, I've covered what I wanted to chat about, or the main points anyway. So yeah, long and short of it is that I've been feeling absolutely crazy good, and then this week has been like a dip, but I'm back to where I'm at, which is good. So just touch on this then. So I mentioned just then it's the 28th of March. So on the 30th of March, it's going to be 6 months. So this is the 6-month mark we're at with Mike. Yeah, 6 months. And it feels like less, but it feels like more at the same time. It's odd that I'm at a stage now, 6 months on. It's almost like trying to remember, what was it like before I felt like this? Before I had this sort of attachment to the word grief. Like I mentioned, I had a grief wave this week and a grief slump. But perhaps I would have felt like that anyway. And now I'm labeling it as that because that's my new reality. Oh, I've got grief now. So that's what that must be. But what if I hadn't lost him? I could have had that slump anyway and just gone, oh, I'm just not feeling that good. So I'm almost forgetting a little bit, I think, what it was like to not have that word label that I give myself. So yeah, that's an interesting thing. Also with Mike, I mentioned last week that I was bringing his track out. So his track came out yesterday. So he's officially, Mike Robinson UK is the artist name. He's officially an artist on streaming sites, on the internet. He is a music artist forever now. And I just feel like so great that I could give him that gift. I feel gutted that I wish I'd have done it when he was here. I wish I did. Imagine if I'd done that for him when he was here. But I obviously can't do that, so I've done this for him now. And I did it for his birthday, and he's there. He's on the stores and stuff like that now. So yeah, it's he's an artist, and he contributed as a collaborator on that record. So yeah, I'm happy with that. And then doing this as well is because of him. I've mentioned on the other videos that he spoke online to try and help others or whatever it is. I'm doing it. Hopefully it helps you or it helps others. Hopefully. But it helps me as well, if I'm honest. Like everything that you do sort of has got to be sort of rooted, I think, in what's good for you. Because if this wasn't, then I wouldn't do it. Yeah. So this is my way of honoring him is through sort of a creative outlet, as much as I can, speaking nonsense to a camera possibly, and talking about things I'm learning and a really early journey in the grieving process. But the one thing I do want to say actually is, as much as this is at the moment raw commentary, diary type chat around what's happening in my life and the experience that I'm going through with losing my brother Mike, I don't ultimately want it to be this channel. I want it to be more, yeah, it's fine, it started and it's rooted in that, but it's not, I'm not going to have it as like, it's just like a grief channel. It's going to be a channel of like getting the most out of stuff. yeah, it's going to be something where I'm not sure exactly. It's going to evolve as I go. Simple as that. Because I don't want to. I've mentioned before just then. Struggle to remember what it's like before having the word grief. I've never heard that word so much in my life. The word grief. I'm always getting sick of it. That word. It'll be much broader than that, and I want it to be a place where, yeah, we talk about it. We talk about struggles in life. Life's hard. It can be hard, but life can also be brilliance as well. And you can get a lot from it. We're not here that long. Like my brother's life's, he's completed it, hasn't he? And I don't intend to complete mine for a long time yet. And there's so much stuff I want to get out of it. And I think that might come back to the feelings of guilt when I rest, because I'm like, I'm not getting the most out of my time here, am I? Just had a realization then. This is like therapy, that. Maybe that's what it is, the feeling of guilt. I feel like I haven't got much time. So therefore, I feel guilty when I rest. If you're watching and you're an expert, let me know. Yeah, let me know. I might have to wrap up because I think what time is it now? Yeah, I'm going to wrap up because I'm rambling, but I've just come up with a realization I never would have before, which is that. So yeah, hopefully that was not just, hopefully that was of any value to you. Yeah, but anyway, if you're struggling, you're going through anything hard or anything like that, I hope you're doing all right. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one.